All right, everyone, it is noon. I hope everyone's having a good lunch break right now, and I hope you're joining us for Zoo to You Virtual Safari, our third of the day for Giving Tuesday now. I am Carly, and we are in Harmony Hill, our bear habitat for our grizzly Tundra. I'm gonna be joined by two keepers. We're gonna do a little training with Tundra, a little bit of enrichment, and a lot of answering your questions. I'm so excited to give you guys an update on just how much of an impact you've had on Denver Zoo today. We have raised $51,000 so far today with the help of everyone who's donated on Facebook, Instagram, through our email campaign, and our website. So thank you so much. Hello to Jennifer. Hi, Hunter. Everyone's excited to see Tundra. She is really popular. Hi, Becky. Thanks for joining us again. And hi, Abby. You guys are the best. Thank you for always joining us and hopping on these lives. So I just want a few more people to join on before we go over and say hi to Tundra. She's really excited to work with Krista and Janae today. So we're gonna start getting those questions from you all and answering them and talk about what she's eating, what we're training, and why it's so important that we get her to work with us. But thank you again. I just want to thank everyone who has donated. $51,000, such a great number already, but we can continue to double that impact. Our Board of Governors and Leadership Council are matching $68,000 in donations, so we can still double that number, just $17,000 away from that number. So let's keep donating, let's keep raising money for Denver Zoo. Hi, Ashley, once again, we are excited to see you as well. Let's keep supporting Denver Zoo. We hope we're one of those organizations you really care about today. So I'm gonna flip it around and we're gonna go see Tundra. All right, over here is Janae and Krista. They are two of our carnivore keepers. So let's open these doors and let's see our girl Tundra. I know she's excited to get some treats and some training. There she is. Oh, I love that face. We love her so much. Everyone just says hi, Tundra. They are so excited. We are too. So this is our training wall, which was part of our new Harmony Hill habitat. People will recognize this as where the polar bears used to live, but for the last year, it has been the home to Tundra, our grizzly bear. It's all retrofitted and designed perfectly for her. And this is where we would normally do our bear demo and keeper talk. So normally we'd have guests here, but we don't today, unfortunately. So Janae, tell me what Tundra is getting fed and what we're working on.
So here at the training wall, we are able to do a lot of husbandry behaviors, what we call them. So we're able to get a lot of opportunity to check her teeth, check her paws. She can, if she needs a vaccination, she's trained for a lean-in behavior, so she leans in. She can stand up like that so we can get a nice view of her tummy and underside. Right now, Tundra is also learning to do a new paw behavior where she kind of sticks her paw underneath the bear so that we can do a cool blood draw on her. So you might see her offer that behavior quite a few times during her normal training session today. The food that she is feeding right now, she is actually a very hungry bear. These guys are coming out into their out of their hibernation mode, so they're getting pretty hungry, and she really enjoys her vegetables. So today she's getting some yams, some peppers. She also loves her melon, so she gets some honeydew melon today. A variety of foods. Tundra bear is on a seasonal diet, so it depends on the time of year as to what she's really interested in, just like her cousins that live out in her home range. So she eats a lot of protein. She loves to get different types of meat. She loves fish, salmon. She loves her bones. We give her all kinds of stuff. But during training sessions, we tend to stick with the easy things that we can feed through that mesh safely and give her rewards for her behaviors that she offers when asked.
Victoria's wondering what is her favorite snack and how much does Miss Tundra weigh right now?
So that is a really good question. Again, it kind of depends on the time of year as to what she really absolutely loves. She is really into fish at certain times of the year. She also loves it. In the summertime, we give them lard. So it's essentially just like cubes of fat, and she absolutely loves those as well. It just, like I said, really depends on the time of year as to what she is really into. And right now, Tundra weighs 375 pounds-ish, give or take. She has shed a lot of her winter weight, so these guys as you may or may not know, they pack on a lot of weight in the wintertime, and then they hibernate, and they don't eat much during the wintertime, and during that time they're living off those fat reserves. And so when they start to wake up, when the weather starts to get warm, they start to eat a lot more food. And so that's what we're doing right now.
Abby says, are there any foods she doesn't like?
Krista, what would you say her least favorite foods are?
We are not a fan of cashews or peanuts.
So cashews and peanuts are definitely not a favorite right now.
We try every now and then just to make sure if her tastes have changed. But no, and every now and then there's certain fruits that you can give her that she'll just mind. Sometimes we're very picky.
There was a long time she didn't like blueberries, and then all of a sudden she really liked blueberries.
Oh, she's a finicky one.
Yes.
We love her. A lot of compliments on how smart Tundra is and how she's doing all these behaviors. How long does it take to work with a bear and train them for these behaviors? Some of them she's known for a really long time, but others like the paw are relatively new.
So it really depends on how complex the behavior is that we're training, and it also just depends on how motivated she is to train as well, because again, during certain times of the year, she's not as hungry, not as interested in people because she's getting a little sleepy. So again, in that winter months, we don't really do a lot of training. So if we were trying to train something in the winter, we probably wouldn't get very far. So we really take advantage of the spring and summer and fall time. And again, it really depends what the behavior is as to how quickly she learns it. One of the first behaviors that we always train is a target, which Krista just demonstrated there, because the target is when we ask them to put their nose primarily, but some body part to a target, and then we can use that to shape other behaviors. So she is a very, very smart animal and usually actually picks things up pretty quickly. Sometimes they start offering behaviors that we're like, let's capture that behavior. She really likes doing it. So we'll shape the behavior through a capture training plan. It just really depends, but she is a super, super smart bear and really loves training with her keepers.
She really is. She's so right now. Abby says she can hear the sea lions. Yes, they are certainly quite loud, and we're not far from their habitat. Lori's wondering, what is the lifespan of a grizzly bear?
That's a really good question. So in human care, the oldest grizzly bear on record is 44 years old. That is kind of an anomaly. It's a pretty old bear. Typically speaking, in human care, they could probably live between 20 and 30 years. Tundra is 18. She just turned 18 in January. Their cousins that live out in their home range, their typical range is about 20 to 25 years of age. It just depends on, what they're exposed to and what kinds of things. Obviously here at Denver Zoo, these guys have everything that they could possibly need. They have better health care than you and I do, and we have a nutritionist on staff that makes sure that they have a fully balanced diet. So typically we'll see them live a really long, healthy life here in our care.
I want to say hi to Ivy and Lily. They always tune in. It makes me feel so good once they're back on here watching. There was Tundra just showing off her full body. What benefit do we get from being able to examine the whole kind of belly front part of her body like that?
So that's a really good question, and that's a common behavior that we do train our animals so that we can get that underside, because she is an animal that walks on all four paws, so we don't really see that underside very much. So being able to get a good visual on that, and also when they stand up, if they do that behavior quite regularly and we have no problems with, or they have no problems standing up to do it, and then all of a sudden we ask that behavior and they're having, a difficult time standing up, that could be indicative of some kind of health issue. Could be arthritis or something else potentially that can be problematic for them. So it is a really good behavior for us, and it's a really impressive behavior for our guests to be able to see how big they are.
Let's ask Krista, what is this container and what are we hoping she'll do with
So
it?
this is some of Tundra's favorite food. So I smeared it with honey and some tuna. If you guys want to look, you can see her tongue go to action in there.
So we're enjoying getting a look at Tundra's tongue. Tundra is 18, Hunter. She just turned 18 in January. So she is a full-grown bear?
Yes.
So yes, I hope that answers your question, Abby. And let's talk about a little bit about how Tundra came to be at Denver Zoo.
So yeah, that's a really great question. We get that a lot. So Tundra is a grizzly bear, and we actually got her because she is a rescue. Her mom was a nuisance bear up in Alaska, and we had to find a home for her, and Denver Zoo was a really great option. Her two brothers are at the Riverbanks Zoo. And so she came here to be a buddy with our other bear that we used to have, Kootenai, and she has been here since she was about 6 months old. And she came, because she was a rescue bear. And we don't breed these guys in human care or in zoos because every year there's a human conflict, usually with this species, and so there's a lot of orphan cubs that need homes. So that is how we were able to acquire Tundra, and most, if not all, bears that you see of grizzly bears in zoos will be a rescue individual.
Absolutely. And Kootenai, he passed away last year. He was a great companion to her. Explain why we won't be getting a young grizzly in here.
Yeah, that is a really good question, and we actually get that question quite frequently. And these animals are actually solitary species. They do not like to be together, typically speaking, unless they are breeding. Sometimes you'll see them come together, especially big males, in feeding groups at rivers when there's a big salmon run or there's a really good food source. You'll see them together. And the only other times you'll really see them is when mom is with cubs. Kootenai and Tundra were able to stay together because they were pretty much raised as siblings, essentially, even though they were not related by blood. But she actually prefers being by herself, and if we were to bring in another bear and try to introduce, it would probably be quite stressful on her. And so with her welfare in mind, we just want to keep her happy and cozy, and she is thriving in this new habitat that she's in, and she loves having all the space to herself and basically being the queen of Harmony Hill.
Yes, and people are asking if she likes water. She absolutely loves it. We have a pool in this side of the habitat and a stream and a shallow pool on the other side of the habitat. Harmony Hill is a fantastic place to visit to learn about how bears act in the wild and how they act in our own backyards and how you can reduce that human-bear conflict. Hibernation. Yeah. People always ask, does Tundra hibernate like a bear would out in its wild range?
Yeah, so here at the zoo, we do allow Tundra to dictate what she wants. And so one of the great things about our new habitat that she has is there's a lot of natural substrate. And so this last year was the first year that Tundra was able to dig an actual natural den. And she did go into a modified hibernation. And really, grizzly bears, if there's an abundance of food or it's warmer weather, typically they're not going to hibernate as deeply or as long. A bear that has a lot colder climate or doesn't have as much food, they are more than likely going to have a longer hibernation. So Tundra, her record right now is about 20 days of sleeping and hanging out in her den. She does come out and she gets a little bit of snack from her keepers. And then if she chooses, she'll go back and sleep for another, couple of days before she comes out and greets us. We really just let Tundra decide what she wants to do and what's best for her.
So that was her enjoying an ice treat. What was in that ice treat?
So that was actually some of the meat that she gets, and it was ground up so that we kind of spread it throughout the whole thing.
Everyone's saying she really demolished it.
Oh yeah.
Yes, she did. I think my record for sleeping during this quarantine has been 20 days. I feel like we all feel a little bit like Tundra after they come out of hibernation. Like, whoa, what's going on? So let's check out this bone she's about to get. What is this from?
So this is a beef knuckle bone. So we're actually going to be tossing it in the pool for her.
Okay.
We're going to take her over to the primary yard.
Yeah.
So we'll take her over to the stream over in the natural park side of Harmony Hill. And
she'll probably
be asking about the pool, and so you'll get a chance to see her jump in for that.
Yeah,
she
so.
might do a run.
Oh, right, she might beat us over.
Come on, let's go. There she goes.
Yeah.
She's
Oh my gosh, let's
She's
see if we can
excited.
catch up with her.
And let's go.
There she goes. Her fur is kind of soft, kind of gritty.
Yeah, these guys almost are never as soft. So, look at her waiting. So,
You ready?
Yeah, let's watch this thing go over.
oh, nice. Hey.
Couldn't have made that if I tried.
If we had planned for that to go in the disc, it would not have happened. Oh my gosh.
And there she is.
There she is, happy as a clam with her bone. Is this the type of temperature she might kind of enjoy in the pool for a while?
Yeah, she really, I think once we start seeing temperatures above 50-ish degrees, we start seeing her frequent the pools a lot more. It depends, you know, days that we feel like it's really cold, she is out there swimming and having a good old time, and days where it's really warm, she's sleeping in the shade. So Tundra does what Tundra wants.
Yes, she does. And I don't know where she's going right now, but she has a lot of space here to take that bone wherever she wants, and she's taking it as far away from this camera as she possibly can.
So I have seen her on many occasions take the bone that's been given out here and then go inside into her nice cool bedroom and devour it inside.
Yes, we do give our animals choice, and with all, she's choosing to go into her back bedroom and enjoy there. So we'll take a couple more questions just for Janae or Krista about Tundra. If she comes back out, we'll certainly point the camera back to her because we know everyone wants to see her. Let's see, how long can their claws get?
So yeah, I mean several inches long, which if you guys saw when she was doing those paw behaviors on the door, actually pretty long for her. We are working on some nail trim behaviors. Naturally, she actually wears them down when she does a lot of digging. So when she dug the den that Janae was talking about earlier, she wore them down really well naturally, so we didn't have to worry about trimming them at all. But now that she's kind of coming out of it and she hasn't started digging again, they're pretty long.
Pretty long. So if you've never been to Harmony Hill, it's a really great habitat because this side of it mimics what you'd find in a state park, a national park, where a lot of these bears roam. She has her trees, her different substrates, her streams and pools, all mimics what you would find in the wild and teaches you as a person what you should be doing if you're out camping. Things like stringing up your food on the backpack, or stringing up your backpack so bears can't grab your food, having bear safe trash cans. And the first part of the habitat where we did the training is more like your backyard. If you live out kind of in the foothills or the mountains, bears are likely to come into your backyard. And so we'll teach you over on that side of the habitat how to mitigate that a little. Make sure you don't have bird feeders at the wrong time of year. Your dog food's not outside, and kind of shows you what things that bears are really attracted to in backyards.
And I think one of the important things to point out too is even though we don't have grizzly bears here in Colorado, we do have black bears. And so even though we don't have that species here, all of these behaviors can help keep bears safe. And one of the things that, you know, we get a lot from our guests is how can I help? How can I be a conservationist? And really the biggest issue for bears, both black bears and grizzly bears, is human conflict. So if people are minding as far as living smart with bears when you're out in their habitat, out camping, the best thing that you can do is be bear safe, because you're keeping those species wild, keeping them away from humans and human populations, because when they have that conflict, that is when we're going to have issues with bears. And so if you want to help bears, you can be bear safe when you're out in the parks, in your backyard, if you live out in the foothills. There's a lot that you can do, and we would love to have you guys come when we open back up and learn all the things that you guys can do both at home or out camping.
Yes, we certainly have some articles on our website, on our Zoo Tales blog, for how you can be bear safe at home and when you're camping. So I think Tundra's probably gonna just be enjoying her bone in the back for a while. So I wanna say thank you to Janae and Krista, and I'm gonna say thank you to everyone who has donated. I see we raised $745 during this live alone. You all are helping Denver Zoo so much right now at a very critical time for us, so we appreciate that support. Don't forget, we have one more live for you today. Fans of the hyena, you're gonna love the one we have coming for you at 2 o'clock. So we're gonna finish up for now, but we cannot wait for 2 o'clock to see you on that live. And we just wanna thank you all so much for your support on Giving Tuesday now. Bye everyone.